Hey, this is Renato Longato again, and we are here in Porto, Portugal after a conference at Exopolitik Portugal, and one of my guests right now is Robert Fleischer from Germany. So, Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you already said my name. I'm 33 years old. I studied conference interpreting at the University of Leipzig in Germany for French and Spanish. In June of 2007, I founded the German Exopolitics Initiative, and I'm the coordinator of Exopolitics Germany. We now have more than 2,000 members.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a lot of potential. We have an online community. Our website is www.exopolitik.org. That's with a K at the end instead of CS like in English. Exopolitik.org. And on this website we have 3 sections. Exo Knowledge is how we call it. It's where we provide free and exclusive information about the ongoing developments in the area of UFOs, ET, consciousness research, and all of the things that we need in this time of transition that we are undergoing right now. And then we have our Exo community. It's like Facebook in a way where people can connect. Or I should rather say Facebook is like our Exo community.
Okay. So they can find you also on Facebook.
Yes. They can also find us on Facebook, Exopolitik Deutschland.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fan page there. We have several pages there, and you can also find my profile on Facebook. And then we have the Exo magazine, which is a closed section only for our activists, people who contribute to our cause by doing important work,
Yeah.
or by paying a membership fee. So
Okay.
you don't have to pay in order to become an activist, but you literally become an activist by being active.
That's
And
for sure.
what we do is because I worked for television, that's what I have to say. My background is actually, I studied conference interpreting, but I started to work as a journalist at an age of 16, which was very early. Now when I look backwards in time, it's really strange in a way that I interviewed politicians and the mayor and whatever.
So you were kind of a star at that early age, Robert.
Yeah, actually, when I was
To
20
tell the
years,
truth.
When I was 20 years old, I presented a TV show in my hometown at the regional TV station, and I was kind of a local celebrity in a way. People greeted me in the streets, but I'm very happy that I left that behind, because I had worked for television. I now worked for several TV networks in Germany, the biggest networks, Spiegel TV, ZDF, like all of the major TV networks in Germany. And I stopped working for television because I understood that television is not the area where you can freely report on things which are really important. Because
Okay.
television is not to inform people, but it is there to divert people, to entertain them, to make them think of unimportant things. But I wanted to report on the most important things.
Yes, please tell us what made you become involved in all this.
When I was 16 years old, I became friends with Erich von Däniken. Erich von Däniken is a Swiss author.
The famous bestseller author
Yes,
of...
Chariots of the Gods. And whenever he was in my region, we met in some hotel, it's also very strange, I met him after, I waited for him in front of his hotel, and there was a crowd of people that gathered there who wanted autographs, and I just waited for the people to leave with their autographs, and then I started to have my conversation with Eric, and we talked for an hour because I wanted to have his view on my theory of everything that I had at the age of 16,
Yeah.
And then, so this is how we became friends. And he's actually the reason why I started all of this, why I started to work as a journalist, as a professional TV journalist, because I thought that there are so many things which are so important for mankind and that we never hear anything about on television. So, once you understand that it's real, that we are being visited, and it's not just UFOs, it's not just extraterrestrials, there are so much more important aspects to our reality than we are aware of. That completely changes your whole perception of reality, changes everything. And it could change and transform the society, and it could make this planet a habitable place, a nice place to live, a place where I would live, where I would like to live, where everybody would live in peace together, respecting each other, and especially being aware of certain principles in the universe, which apply to everybody, to every plant, to every human being, to everything.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about especially, what I'm most interested in is mind over matter.
Okay.
Because
the potential of the human being.
Exactly. The potential, it is my conviction that the human potential is only limited by your power of imagination. If you talk to people about UFOs who have never heard about UFOs, and especially in Germany, people don't know anything about this because there is no official statement on UFOs. UFOs don't exist for the German government. There is absolutely no. In Great Britain you have files and UFO subject has been dealt with in 18 countries by the military, but in Germany, they feel like
none, zero.
So if you talk about subjects like this, the first or the last thing that people will tell you after you will have told them all the facts, they will tell you, no, I can't imagine that, And you see, and that's it. That's the limit, That's the limit that you impose on yourself.
Yeah.
The power of imagination, because 100 years ago, scientists couldn't imagine that there were meteors falling on the surface of the Earth from the sky, from outer space. And there was even, I think, the president of the National Academy of Sciences or the Royal Academy of Sciences of Great Britain who said that only fools believe that rocks can fall on the Earth that come from outer space,
That's
because
right.
it was beyond their limit of imagination.
That's right, that's right.
So we have to widen our horizon, our capacity to imagine, because imagination is a creative process, and it is a very, very precious process. If you think about what is it that has really advanced, that has really contributed to the advancement and evolvement of mankind. What is it, the invention of the wheel, the invention of the steam engine, the car, the internet, that has revolutionized the world. But where did it all come from, It did not come from the mind, from experiences, from thinking it all over again or something. No, it was inspiration, it was imagination. There are many inventors who say that they had been thinking about the composition of their chemical formula, and they for months or years, and they never knew how it worked. And then one day they just had this insight under the shower or while dreaming, and they saw the formula before their eyes. So where does that come from?
That's right. There is something else, something
exactly.
more. And we have to willing to be explored.
Exactly.
So what are your current projects, or what are you going to do next? Please tell us, Robert.
Well, what we're currently doing is we are producing some sort of a TV magazine style internet show, which is free to watch for everybody on exopolitik.org/magazine, but it's without E at the end, Magazin, without E. It's in German language only for people in German, Austria, and Switzerland. And we report on those subjects in a professional manner, because I think that many researchers and many people who are active in this field and who have very interesting stories to tell, many interesting research projects, they do not necessarily have the capacity to provide their information in a professional way so that viewers would respect them as a credible source, just because they are technically not able to report on it in a professional manner. So I think that in order to convince people or to make people aware that there is something else, in order to make them accept the possibility, at least, you need to provide and to offer this information in a very professional manner, just like on television. And that's what we are trying to do. And I can tell you, it's very expensive. It's so expensive.
It's very demanding, time-consuming,
Yes.
but you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And I'm sure all the people is very, very for them, they feel grateful, and it's very welcome, all the information that you have done and you're doing right now. And let me tell you, your conference was excellent. The presentation that you have, it is very professional. You came with a team of people that are really helping to you, and they're working 24/7, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm really impressed by your work, Robert, and I'm sure all the people that are listening to you and watching this video will look for information. So I wish you the best. You're doing a great job. You, Natasha, and Anya, I'm sure you have more people in Germany.
Yes,
I mentioned
a huge team.
It's a huge team, and this is the way it works, folks. So when you see something on YouTube coming from Robert Fleischer, remember there are plenty of people working behind this, and this is the guy who has plenty of experience on TV production. But not only that, he has his own philosophy, his worldview, which is something very rich and deep. And there is something that has touched his life, very personal. That's why he's doing this. That's why he's working hard. That's why he poured his heart into this. And that's the vision that he has developed, and it's evolving. So final words for our audience, Robert.
Yes. I would like to say that nothing is impossible, that all the constraints and limits that exist, they only exist in our heads, in the mind. In fact, there are no limits whatsoever. It's the power of imagination. If you can imagine it, you can do it. And just keep the faith, There are so many people, the people who control this world, they do this by imposing limits and imposing, false images about what is possible and what is not possible and stuff. Forget about that, The way we construct reality comes from inside ourselves, from inside. So if you want to change the world, you need to begin from the inside. You need to start the change from within. And when you have started that change from within, you will suddenly see that you no longer have to fight for a change in the outer world, but the change in the outer world will automatically come to you once you have changed your inner world.
That's a fantastic and beautiful message. Thank you, Robert. We're going to be in touch.
Thank you very much, Renato. I really appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.